However,
I'm going to go with Pinhead.
You.
Pinhead? Is Pinhead right?
The other night on your program.
Or is it Patriot?
The other night on your program, criticized Fox News for bailing out of the president's back and forth with the GOP. After we used an hour of it, all right, and bailed out for about 12 minutes because we had other stuff to do. And you were offended, personally offended. So
I wasn't offended. I thought it was funny.
No, you criticized us.
But I thought it was funny.
You mocked us for doing it.
I mocked you.
Yeah, that was the right decision. But, Stewart.
Oh, my God.
On election night...
You got like Ali's reach. You see the arms on
you had no idea,
It's like dealing with Dikembe Mutombo, trying to argue with... You're giving me one of these.
But,
no.
On Massachusetts vote night, when we covered Coakley's speech in the entirety... When we covered the winner's speech in the entirety, Brown, okay, and the other CNN and MSE didn't cover Brown.
I should have.
You didn't say a word, did you?
You're absolutely right.
I rest my case.
Your case is rested.
All right. Gentlemen of the jury, deliberate and come back and find Stewart guilty of gross hypocrisy. Now, let's play a little bit of a scenario. Right. I'm thinking about this in 2012. I'm thinking about running for president. And
I think that's a really bad idea.
I want you to be my vice president.
I think that's a really bad idea, too.
Now,
listen, I got pictures of me from college that I have in a shoebox that preclude me from working at the post office.
Stuart,
so I would not... You have no idea the trouble you'd be getting into.
This is why I've selected you as my vice president.
All right.
Okay? Your image is so bad, no matter what they found, it wouldn't matter. Okay, now, I have to vet you. I'm vetting you on the global warming.
What about it?
All right? You're big on that. You're frightened of it. You want to flee, don't you?
Flee what? The Earth?
The planet, yeah.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay right now, yeah.
How bad is global warming?
I live on like the 12th floor. I should be okay.
Yeah, but you saw that...
I'm a little worried about my neighbors.
You saw that Emmerich movie. You saw that Emmerich movie.
I'm hoping some of their plasma screens float up.
Okay.
So I'm okay.
It's a big problem, though. Is it global warming? I got to have your POV on this.
I guess, look, I'm not a scientist. I can only assume common sense. If you burn a lot of stuff and put it in the atmosphere, it means something. What it means, I don't know. I'm uncomfortable with the idea that you can treat the Earth like you would, your dial in your house and adjust the climate.
So what do you want to do about global warming? What do you want to do?
What do I want to do about it?
No more barbecues? What do you want? What do you want?
I really enjoy barbecue. What I would like to do about global warming is I think rebuild our energy infrastructure. That super grid sounds like a pretty good idea.
Green energy?
If it makes sense. I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't. It
cap
seems like
and trade?
It makes sense.
You want to?
No, I think cap and trade is somewhat of a silly idea. In the same way that I think carbon credits, I guess they are. What is it called? The carbon. You want to have a party and you want to.
Yeah, Al Gore, the carbon trade thing.
You get credits.
Right.
You can go online and it's like it reminded me of the old indulgences of the Catholic Church. You're
Al Gore
hey, I don't mind copping a feel on that 12-year-old. Here's $100.
Al Gore can fly in a private jet, but then he reads books by candlelight. It's a carbon offset.
That stuff that's bothersome to me. The idea that people whose carbon footprint. I think it's got to be a much larger discussion about a new...
But you believe in global warming, man-made?
Do I believe that man has something to do with it? I have no reason not to.
Okay.
I am a person who believes in science.
Gore came on.
He was on the program.
Right. Did you ask him that he made $100 million off the global warming?
I didn't ask him that.
No?
No. Should I have asked him that?
I think so.
All right, I'll ask him that.
Because that's a good question.
That is a really good question.
$100 million he's made.
That's why you're Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's go to Iran. If you're my VP, I'm going to have to put you in charge of very delicate negotiations. Now, Iran's building, nuclear weapons over there. And if they get them, they might give them to some guy named Ahmed, who might then take them to Cleveland and blow everything up. So what are we going to do with that?
Well, doesn't Pakistan have nuclear weapons?
Yes,
and
they do.
Couldn't they give it to somebody?
I don't know.
Doesn't Russia have nuclear weapons?
Russia
Couldn't they give it to somebody?
They could.
So
we should have another one?
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's a problem. The problem isn't the country that gets them. The problem seems to be the weapon, rather than the country.
But if Iran gets them with their bellicosity...
Well, let me ask you a question.
Isn't that a good word?
Since you're the top of the ticket, and I want to make sure that I'm comfortable, because you and I are going to have to hold hands a lot. And by the way, that shot of us on stage with our arms around each other, I'm going to look like your idiot nephew. You're like 6'8", and I'm 5'7". I don't think that's a winning ticket.
Well, we'll get you, the Tom Jones,
the
Tom Jones elevated heels?
Oh, that's very kind of you.
Okay, you will.
Here's what I think. I think the strategy of what we've done, and again, thank you guys for ratcheting up the fear on this.
You're not afraid that Iran gets a nuclear weapon and they cause all kinds of
There's a
havoc
lot of
with
things to be afraid of in the world. I asked the guy,
You're a Jewish guy, right?
What?
You're a Jewish guy.
Who told him?
All right.
Son of a bitch. Did you tell him?
So I believe
What
I believe that the president of Iran
What gave it away? Was it my happy Hanukkah when I walked in?
I think they
there
were.
is a war on Hanukkah in this country, mister.
I believe the Ahmadinejad, he wants to drive you and all the other Jewish people into the sea.
So so I cannot control that. I cannot control what those things are.
What we can control is we can stop them from having the nuclear weapon.
Here's the thing. You might be able to stop them from having a nuclear weapon,
right.
But as technology grows and becomes more accessible to people, this is going to become an increasingly difficult problem. And here's what we can't do. Here's what we can't do.
What can't we do?
Our strategy for battling terrorism can't be that you overthrow governments and then make the United States military commit 150,000 troops to those lands until they can somehow stabilize the governments long enough so that you can prevent 10 people from plotting destruction in a basement.
It's bankrupting the country.
It's bankrupting the country.
But you don't seem too concerned about Iran. You just don't seem to be that concerned about it.
Because Iran, like most of these other countries, has a self-preservationist streak. And I am a firm believer that that self-preservationist streak keeps them, they're not mad. They understand. Look, there is no theory of mutual destruction with Iran. Let's say they get one off. It would be tragic.
Well, how will we trace it? We never trace it.
Please.
Look, they can't even get
absolutely
They can't even question the underwear bomber.
If somebody,
all right? They can't get a guy with underwear and they can't get the answers.
Let's look at the geniuses we're up against.
Right,
Richard Reed was the airplane bomber. He tried to take that explosive and put it in his shoes.
Right.
It took them 8 years. And the plan they came up with in 8 years is, why don't we try sticking it under that guy's genitals? That's what they did in 8 years. They moved from the guy's shoes up to his underwear.
Right, and he got to Detroit, all right? So that's the frightening part about it. Now, trying Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in your living room, because you live downtown.
That's right.
And he's going to be in your living room.
That's right.
Are you down with that? You want that civilian
I'd like him tried, honestly, in the pit. I'd like him right in there. And I'd like him to be executed at halftime of the Super Bowl.
But really,
and then reanimated so we could do it every year.
600 million, 700 million going to cost the city. We don't have any money here anyway.
I'm glad to see that you're suddenly very concerned about cost.
I am. I'm a fiscal conservative.
No, and I think maybe when the Iraq War was coming up, you might have mentioned that. It would have been a big help.
I said many times on this program that was not a good thing to do. All right?
You said you would apologize if they didn't find weapons of mass destruction.
And I did. I said I was wrong many times. That whole Iraq thing did not go well. All right? And I said it on this program. If you had watched the program, you'd know that. And your frame of reference would be much larger than it is right now.
Here's the other thing, too, and I want to talk about this because I think this is an interesting point. You know, this whole Tea Party movement is about anger at the government. And it has been embraced, and some would say sponsored, by Fox News. And when you talk to the Tea Party people, they're very thankful for Fox News and Glenn Beck in particular for helping them out. And I think that's very noble of them to do that.
Do you like the Tea Party people?
I think I don't want to speak about them generally.
Do you know any Tea Party people?
Yes, I do.
Really?
And some
of
them
in Greenwich Village, there are Tea Party people? We're talking the protesters, not the real Tea Party people.
Let me tell you something, Bill. I'll give you 4 blocks of Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
And I'll put that up against 4 blocks around your house.
Levittown?
And no, your house now.
Oh, Levittown is where I was brought up.
Well, you don't live there anymore, brother.
No, but I live close.
So let me give you 4 blocks of where you are now, where you've been ensconced for the past however many years. I guarantee you I got a wider variety of people in the 4 blocks in Greenwich Village.
Are we doing zip guns, or what are we doing?
You know what I'm talking about. Enough with the whole, listen, when you and Bernie Goldberg get on here and the whole, like, these Harvard-educated media elites, and I'm like, you're a Harvard-educated media elite, O'Reilly.
I'm proud of it, man.
No, you're not.
Okay, but they won't even let me on their campus. Well, so that says something.